Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please be joined today in studio by Senator Ron Wyden. Senator, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
President Biden is pushing right now to tax corporations to pay for a $2 trillion infrastructure bill. Is this a good idea?
Clearly, there are so many inequities in the tax code as it relates to multinational corporations. At my request, for example, the Joint Committee on Taxation gave us a report that showed in the year after Trump's tax law passed in 2017, these mega corporations, the most wealthy corporations, their tax rates went down more than 50%. Everybody should pay their fair share.
You want the FCC to increase rural broadband access this year to all Oregon communities and nationwide. Would that be part of an infrastructure package?
Absolutely, and dollar for dollar, those investments are crucial because broadband is about telemedicine, it's about distance learning, it's about folks who are working from home. We've got so many dead spots in Oregon and all over the country, and I want broadband to be deemed essentially like electricity was decades ago as an essential.
Georgia's restrictive new voting law has corporations like Delta speaking out against it. Now baseball has moved the All-Star game out of Atlanta this summer. My question isn't about the law, but broader. Should corporations be involved in politics?
Obviously, on core kinds of questions, like voting rights, everybody should be involved. And when you look at that Georgia law, restrictions, for example, like making it harder for people to get a bottle of water when they're waiting in line, that's just wrong. Voting should be easier, not harder.
You're co-sponsoring legislation that would protect domestic violence survivors from gun violence. Anything involving guns is, of course, very partisan nationwide. Why is this bill any different, and what are its chances of passing?
First of all, I don't see how anybody can defend that kind of domestic violence and what makes it easier. And I think this is a time, particularly in rural communities with young people, they're saying they want change. They want a basic background check. They want gun storage rules. That's just common sense.
You come to us just after visiting La Clinica here in Medford. Why is visiting organizations like that so important right now?
We're all so proud of La Clinica. What they're doing is delivering a dose of hope to some of the most vulnerable Oregonians, and I just love the way the community pitches in with volunteers, and they ran a capital campaign. It was possible to buy a property that was once a car dealership, and now at La Clinica, you have a place that was once devoted to car repair is now devoted to COVID care, and it's coming about because of the community.
Senator, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Senator Ron Wyden. Senator, you helped introduce the CAHOOTS, Crisis Assistance Helping Out in the Streets Act, to help states adopt mobile crisis response teams based on a model used in Eugene for years. Now, why will this work across the country?
One of the reasons it's going to work is because law enforcement folks and mental health folks want it to work. They've come together, and we know that there's tremendous tensions on our streets, particularly in a lot of the more metropolitan areas. And the law enforcement people say, look, it's hard for us to take the lead on mental health questions. And mental health people say, we're not interested in substituting for law enforcement. So what I was able to do in the Medicaid program, it's got incredible application for folks with modest incomes, is get a down payment in the recovery plan for more strike teams made up of mental health folks and law enforcement people to assist on the streets.
A Capitol police officer died last week during your Senate recess after another attack on the Capitol. Do you feel safe returning there?
Certainly after January 6th, it's been clear that security needs to be beefed up. We lost another officer. One of my colleagues said he was a martyr for democracy. And to me, this is a real basic proposition. This is the people's chamber. This belongs to the American people. And it is unfortunate that there are some who would seek to undermine the values it represents, but we're going to make sure that the adequate safety procedures are put in place.
For years, politicians on both sides of the aisle have badmouthed the other. Can this be stopped or at least lessened?
What I believe is in principled bipartisanship. For example, I've led a bipartisan effort to stop pharmaceutical price gouging. I mean, you've got, for example, insulin, which is used by thousands and thousands of Oregonians. The prices have gone up 12-fold in recent years. The drug is not 12 times better. I've led a bipartisan coalition with Senator Grassley. We're going to stay at it until we stop the price gouging.
Senator, it's not lost on me that today is Holocaust Remembrance Day. Your parents escaped Germany in the 30s, but not before both of your grandfathers lost their livelihoods, and your father was kicked out of school for being Jewish. What does this day mean to you?
For the Wyden family, it's a day of remembrance and also a day of pain. One of my father's relatives was one of the last who was gassed in Theresienstadt. And it also has a very direct connection to today, because I've come to believe, and I've been looking at these horrendous acts of violence against Asian Americans, nobody is free unless everybody is free. And that's what I'm thinking about today.
Senator, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.